You might have heard that there's some controversy and excitement, depending on your point of view, over the next Supreme Court justice battle. This is the cover of the Daily News, though. First, when I saw that cover, I thought, is that Don Imus? Apparently, it's Donald Trump. And so they're not happy about what's going on, which is fine. The Huffington Post goes even further, a picture of a coat hanger on the cover saying Roe v. Wade is gone or whatever. I don't know. Are we getting ahead of ourselves? Or is this par for the course and the extreme political views on this? With us, former Democratic Congressman Jason Altmaier, a Republican pollster Chris Wilson, and Axios reporter Elena Treen. Elena, I have a feeling from these opening salvos, it's going to be nasty.
That's exactly right. And we've already seen that play out in the hours after Justice Kennedy said that he was going to be retiring. We're seeing a lot of hostility already. You know, some Republicans very triumphant and celebrating, whereas several Democrats are really concerned and panicking over what will happen and whether Majority Leader McConnell will push it through before November, as he said he will do. And already we're seeing this is going to be a huge issue for the midterms as well, and puts a lot of people, especially lawmakers in those red state Democrats, really, in a very precarious position if this comes through before the elections.
Does it have a political effect, Congressman? When you were there, and I know you were in the House, so it's a little different, but that judge issues and battles over nominations, do they play out in an election?
Oh, it's going to galvanize both sides. And I think the strategic issue is on the Republican side. If they get this done before the election, does that kind of temper the enthusiasm? Do they feel like that's mission accomplished and they can sit back and relax? The Democratic side, regardless of whether the appointment is confirmed or not before the election, they're galvanized. And this is only going to further energize the far left base of the Democratic Party. And what you saw with the border issues recently and now with the Supreme Court appointment, it just continues to ratchet up. And I think that the issue is going to be, can the right match that enthusiasm that you're seeing on the left side right now?
You know, what do you think of that, Chris? With the election and the surprise, stunning victory for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez over Michael Crowley in New York, a lot of people said, well, maybe that rabid wing of the party, the Democratic Party, is what's evidencing itself here. And I know that was a unique case, unique contest, but it isn't exclusive, I think, to that district. So are those the types who will get out and vote? And are those the types who are angry enough now, in light of what the president will likely do to pick a conservative justice to replace Justice Kennedy, going to turn out now in higher numbers than would normally be the case?
Well, I don't think they'll turn out in higher number because they've already been having record number turnout in terms of the special elections. If you look back at primaries, and what you do see is sort of a balkanization of the Democratic Party in terms of the far left is now taking it over. In fact, I would say it's not far left doesn't describe it anymore. It's really socialist. I mean, that's to the case you just the candidate you just cited. But I would point out one of the key demographic groups that gave Donald Trump his victory in 2016 was evangelicals. They turned out in a manner they had really not since 2004. They didn't turn out for McCain. They didn't turn out for Romney in these sort of record numbers. And it's one of the reasons why Donald Trump won Wisconsin. It's one of the reasons why he won Ohio. He won Michigan. I go through really a lot of the states that are this year now electing senators. And there are already, One Nation is already up with ads in West Virginia and Montana specifically citing John Tester's vote against Neil Gorsuch. This is the worst nightmare for those Democrat senators that are running for re-election in red states that Donald Trump won. And it's going to take this issue to the forefront.
Senators is one thing. House of Representatives, whether that flips, is another. Elena, on that front, I tend to think more of an issue could be the economy, whether this continues to keep up, and now concerns with a potential trade war that we're looking at higher prices or at least an impact on the economy that Republicans might not like. What do you think?
Well, that's something that I think a lot of political advisors and people who are really watching the midterms for Republicans are worried about. This issue of what's going to happen with tariffs and a trade war. The potential of a trade war is something that could really impact the amazing, the milestones that we've seen with this administration with the economy. And a lot of people are very worried about that, especially going into the elections, because we're looking at, something that Democrats are really going forward on are healthcare. Like, it's an issue that rising premiums are starting to become more expensive than we're seeing with what they got from the tax cuts. And if we're going to see now these tariffs impacting rural America and different agriculture industries, that could really affect Republicans going into the elections.
Congressman, when you see the heated extremes on both sides, are you glad you left?
Yeah, well, look, there's a merit to public discourse. The concern that I have is it seems to be tipping towards the extreme. When you have these uncivil confrontations occurring with public officials and even people in the media just out living their lives, that's a concern. The polarization in the country is at a level it has rarely been in the history of the country. And I think that these issues that you see are galvanizing people on each fringe of the party in a way that has the potential to be of great concern. So I just hope that the public discourse that you see around these issues contains itself in a way that's appropriate. People channel their enthusiasm in the appropriate way at the ballot box and don't take it to the extreme.
I think that's your way of saying it. Damn right, I'm glad I left. All right, I'm kidding. Guys, thank you all very, very much.